Hello, and thank you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it, and we appreciate a lot of help from a lot of people all throughout this journey. So we've got a couple of shout-outs we're going to make here. The first shout-out being to Beck Sutton, the graphics designer who is designing our logo. She is the creator and owner of Primal Studios, which can be found on Facebook. Or if you go to primalst.com, you'll be able to find her work there, and she is fantastic at what she does.
Yeah, and the second shout out we'd like to make is to Andrew Stanton, composer of the song Escape the Oppression, which is the kick-ass song for our intro. We love the song, we love the dude. You can check out more of his stuff on soundstripe.com, where there's plenty of songs by plenty of other artists as well, where you can license for podcasts. So go check it out and see what's on there and see what you can use.
Stay frosty. Hello and welcome to the Songs That Made Us, the podcast that I like to say, bring on your second wave of COVID, bring it all over my face.
What?
You're here with me, Jake Hughes, the host, who is the greatest in showbiz right now and one of the hottest rising properties in the world, allegedly, according to my own publicist, which is me. And we have my esteemed colleague, Mr. Connor Reed.
Yes, and COVID will not be all over my face.
Well,
it can dodge me and go straight for you.
I was going to say face, neck and chest. I was going to have it like a proper money shot of a disease.
COVID money shot. Lovely.
Oh, it's the best thing you can do with COVID, really, isn't it? Spread it around your body.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it gets to every...
At this point, just become one with it, you know?
However, please avoid COVID cream pies.
Yes, please. In fact, stay safe, wash hands, don't listen to Jake. Jesus Christ.
I've got a sense that I'm tanking this already. Can you tell me if that's true or not? But back to the important matters. So we are here once again with another bloody episode because we don't know how to shut the fuck up. And more than nothing, it keeps us sane. And we are going to be talking to a long-term friend of ours, a person we've known since, about 11, 12? Yeah. We are now 67, so think of the years that have had to go by there. It's a person
I feel like this is our charity podcast where we take one of our closest, biggest fans and we let them have a moment with us.
Are you suggesting that we're basically doing our own version of Jim Will Fix It? Because we don't have a badge to give him.
No, let's not put us in the same league as that, please. I don't want to be swimming with those.
Well, I've had my doubts about you for a while, but you know, that mortuary at Derriford. But yeah, he's a friend that we've known for an exceedingly long time, pretty much too long. We're going to be talking about an album that we've all loved for a long time, a band that we've already discussed previously on the podcast with a different album, a band that's had so many fucking great albums. And here he is. He is our number one fan. He is the tallest man I went to school with. This is the list of his accolades that we know.
Yeah, it's like you're bringing him out to the ring.
He is the enigma, the walking, talking human duck, Ryan Flockhart.
Hey guys, long time listener, first time caller.
We need to do a live show one day, like live to radio kind of thing, where we can get people calling in and just seeing how
I just want to know what animals you'll compare people to. I don't know why Brian's a duck.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. It sort of happened. I don't know, words come into my head and then they just flow out like a stream of beautifulness.
But yeah, Ryan, how's it feel to be on? How have you been?
Oh, I'm so excited. I think it's safe to say I'm your number one fan, right?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure I think you and Casey are probably the people who've listened to the most episodes.
Yeah. And then, as we were saying before the podcast, we have very exciting news where we've definitely got 2 long-time listeners in Virginia. or casual listeners, or people who at least come back for some reason.
I would
So
like to
hello
say
if you're listening
hello there in Okieville.
in Oklahoma.
I'm hardcore. I know all the ins and outs of the songs that made this podcast.
Yeah, you know all the lore.
Dude,
Yeah, all the stories, all the great tales told.
Yeah, Ryan's going to
jokes.
come away from this and make D&D campaigns based on on the lore of our podcast.
No, I think Ryan needs to be the person set up. Like, do you know how everything's got like a wiki fandom page?
Yeah, yeah.
That's Ryan's
He'll
next
be like
task.
the fact checker.
Now we don't need a fact checker. We got me. I do all the facts. I know them all. I'm intelligent. Maybe. But Ryan, we'll actually bring you into it properly now, rather than me blithering on like a fucking half-wit that I am. Tell us your album. Tell us why you like it. Also, tell us who it's by.
goodness me. Okay, my album.
You agreed to come onto this podcast. It's not my
Listen,
fault.
I'm not under oath. I don't have to answer your questions.
You're
He
the
came
first
here
guest.
just to stay. He came here for the live experience. He's going to be completely quiet and just listen to us.
It's
He's
the
like,
first guest
I
we've
feel,
had.
I feel involved.
It's the first guest we've had who's pleaded the fifth.
No,
He is there, we promise. Is it getting to the stage where we pretend we have guests on the show?
That's next week.
my album, Stadium Arcadium, by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sick album.
You like?
Yeah, short to the point.
Well, to be fair, it's safe to say it's an album that, well, we listened to back when we were in school. So.
Yeah, I suppose us three like bonded over it as well. I know you, because you two have always been really, really close friends, and then me and you, Ryan, were like always like, I don't know, like diet friends, like friends, but like,
yeah.
but we weren't going over each other's houses much or anything like that. But then we really bond over like, well, specifically Red Hot Chili Peppers, especially when we went to go see them.
To be fair, I only went to Ryan's house once and I almost broke his guitar. So I was not allowed back, I don't think.
I think Connor was there that same day. It was
Oh, that was Champions League, wasn't it?
Champions League.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
I remember this.
I wish not to remember it. Yeah, your beautiful Ibanez.
It hasn't been touched in a long time.
At this point, I'm going to put an unpaid plug in here. Jackson SDX, phenomenal fucking guitar. The neck is really thin, and for somebody who's got tiny little.
Oh, this is your new guitar.
Yeah, this is my new guitar. It's the Adrian Smith signature series. So Adrian Smith, the guitarist, one of 3 guitarists for Iron Maiden. He played this probably a lot more during the sort of Seventh Son era, so sort of 1987, 88 onwards.
Yeah.
But it's the neck is really thin, and my tiny hands can actually play bar chords without like dying. And it's great.
Bless your tiny hands.
I know I've learned 3 fucking Arctic Monkey songs on guitar now.
Yeah, so I've converted you.
You haven't so much converted me, it's just that I can play them.
Oh, alright. That'll do.
Do you want to guess the songs?
Are they 4 out of 5, one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's 4 out of 5, it's When the Sun Goes Down.
Yep. That's the hardest one, incidentally.
Is it?
Just
okay.
chords.
And then maybe
Sorry, 4 songs I technically know. One of them a new chord.
What are the other 2?
Other 2, Are You Mine, which I learned years ago playing Rocksmith. Crying Lightning.
Crying Lightning's a good track.
I can play it.
Really underrated.
I can play it and sing that one, just as long as you don't mind shit singing.
If you don't mind wailing.
But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Red Hot Chili Peppers again because they're awesome and they're amazing.
Yes.
And I've just started reading.
No, yeah. What have you started reading?
Acid for the Children, Flea's book.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's really good.
I haven't got that far into it because I was finishing up Bruce Dickinson's, but yeah, I love Flea. I love Flea. I love the Chili's. That's all I'm willing to say.
Does he recount the time he watched Anthony do the sister?
I was talking about this the other day with Gary, previous podcast guest. I don't know if... Are we sure we've remembered that properly?
This is what you told me.
This is what I'm trying to think. Have I remembered it properly? Because I haven't read Scar Tissue in a long time. I can't remember if he said that he watched him fuck his... If Flea watched Anthony fuck his sister.
What?
Or if Flea had just watched Anthony fuck someone. Because I
hope
read...
it's the second one.
When I was trying to work this out the other day, I read a interview quote from Flea who said he only found out about him and Anthony and his sister having sex years after the fact when Scar Tissue came out, which makes it, in my mind...
Clear, I understand what you're saying now, but it sounded like you were saying Anthony was fucking his own sister, not fucking the Flea's sister. That's why I was like, what?
No, Anthony Kiedis was fucking... I think she's called Karen Balsary.
Right.
I think she's called Karen anyway. Yeah, Flea's sister. But
right.
What Flea was saying in the interview, he only found out when Scar Tissue came out. But I'm pretty sure I read it in Scar Tissue is Flea watched him through a window with his giant afro hair that he used to have back then and his gap tooth.
Just like a really like, what is happening moment. Like, there's rain, he's outdoors, shivering, crying.
Part of me wonders, if you're in that situation, would you stay to watch?
Not some kind of voyeuristic display, is it?
It's an odd thing, isn't it? Like,
No, it's not an odd thing. It's a clear cut thing. You go, oh fuck, and then you walk away, and then you maybe have a conversation with your mate.
And then being in a band like that, I mean, they've seen one another, do the worst of things.
Well,
And then they have. That's
well,
true.
especially Anthony and Flea, considering how long together they've been back in the days when Anthony was something of a sex fiend. Like, there's a reason there's a song called So Psycho Sexy.
But yeah, it's safe to say that the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers are like one of our favourite bands collectively, for all three of us, maybe even our favourite bands. I don't want to speak for you, Ryan, but
you'd be right. You'd be right.
And so is Stadium Arcadium your definitely at least top 3 for me, yeah. Is Stadium Arcadium your favourite Chili's album then, Ryan?
I mean, it's the sort of thing I think can change weekly. I was listening to Californication the other day and I very almost changed my pick.
Oh, really?
But I think generally just for it's almost a nostalgic value for me, I think. It was like the first album I think I bought.
Yeah. Well, because it was very, like, when we were younger, it was still very fresh, and it was, like, played everywhere. The songs, loads of songs from this album were, like, constantly on TV all the time.
Well, you think about it, we started secondary... We started secondary just before Stadium Arcadium came out. Stadium Arcadium came out in 2006.
Yeah.
So we were bombarded then with, Danny California would be the big one.
Yeah.
Tell me maybe not so much.
Snow would be the other one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much just Danny California, and then they'd still go back to By the Way and Scar Tissue, Californication, Other Side, things like that.
Yeah, but I remember seeing Tell Me Baby, the video for that, a lot. And then I remember at the time on a lot of like TV shows and films and stuff, you'd have a lot of songs from this album as well. Like the one that sticks in my head instantly is in Scrubs, where they had Snow.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know, it was a really big album, really successful album. But I suppose by that point they're so well established and they're just churning out constant A-grade quality work.
Well, I think like we had to do with Maiden, sort of splitting the albums out into, or splitting their run into eras works best. So I think because this is obviously the return of John Frusciante from Californication onwards up until this being his last album of that run before returning again last year.
Yeah.
But I think from his post return, I think Stadium Arcadium is like the pinnacle of where that band could have gotten to at that time, with their sound, the way they're playing, the songwriting, the fact that they had enough creativity to make a double album which doesn't bore the pants off you.
Yeah, it's massive and it's constant bangers in it, mate. I just realised how chavvy I sounded, so I thought I'd commit.
And when we say constant bangers, of course, we are referring to Hump to Bump, the greatest song known to man.
Exactly.
I think you've got strong opinions on that one, right?
Not so much anymore. No, I suppose you remember that, but that's all right. It's okay.
I've got a shockingly good memory, but I'm going to make a prediction. Obviously, as you know, being the lore master of the podcast, when we get to the end of the episode, we sort of try and guess each other's favourite songs. We are also grading the albums as well nowadays. So I'm going to make a bold prediction that I am going to be able to guess both of yours correctly.
Really?
Favourite song?
Favourite song and grade? Will you be able to guess the grade?
Yes.
I mean, the grade I think will be quite easy.
Well, should we say the grade right off the bat then? Because I'm pretty sure we're all going to be in unison on this.
You think so? Maybe not.
Well, unless you're going to suddenly give it like a C-, that'll really throw me off.
I love them. One of my favourite albums of all time. Absolute bangers. I'm giving it a C.
Donald there.
Well, put it this way, is it a high grade or...
It's a high grade.
Is it a very high grade or just a slightly high grade?
Let's keep asking questions until we're certain.
I'm going A+, Connor's going A+, you're going A.
I'm going A minus.
Okay.
Ooh, and he sounded so sad with the minus.
Just a minus A. But would you agree, Connor, A+ for you?
Yeah, it's easy A+.
Yeah.
I think same as what Ryan said, this album occasionally is my favorite Chili's album. I think in this era of like the four or five albums, I constantly switch between which one of them is my favorite. Whether it's like Californication or whether it's By the Way, or like, I don't know, I constantly flip between them. But this album I come back to most, and I think it's because it's so massive as well, like as in literally in length. It's a huge album.
Yeah, so if you are wanting to go back and listen to it, you don't have to. You can just drop in at random points. You don't have to sort of sit there and listen to 10 songs to get your feel. You can sort of go, well, I'm going to start with Turn It Again, then go to fucking Desecration Smile, then go to Death of a Martian.
Exactly.
You can bounce around a bit more. And
I think at this time as well, you could almost like they are so comfortable with their sound, and they have been since Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic.
Or Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic.
Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. I always do that. But ever since then, they're
three episodes.
Yeah, they're so perfectly in tune with their sound, and they're so on point that like you can almost all the albums are almost interchangeable. Like all four of those albums could be one album, because their sound is just so similar, but they've got it on lock.
I disagree. I think with Stadium Arcadium, they come off the back of By the Way, where the recording process was a lot harder, especially for Flea, because there were points where he felt like he was going to be dropping out of the band and leaving them, because John Frusciante, who is one of my favourite guitarists and one of my top musical inspirations, he had taken the lead on writing By the Way, and he wanted everything to be his vision, whereas Stadium Arcadium was more, they all just went into it and had fun with it.
Yeah. That's
Definitely think
fair.
they've all got a slightly unique sound to one another. I think they all differ very slightly.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. You can sort of see the buoyancy on Californication of them all coming back together, plus the darker songs with like how they were going through stuff prior to all getting back together. Then By the Way is very, very much more guitar driven and sort of esoteric and introspective at the same time, whereas Stadium Arcadium is more like their big celebratory. Let's have fun.
It's a bigger sound as well. Like I suppose like this album has a bigger, it's got more production to it. It sounds like it should be played in massive stadium tours.
Well, a lot of that's also down to John's guitar as well, because that's part of the reason why they had to get Josh Klinghoffer in as the touring guitarist. Is if you listen to anything pre-Stadium Arcadium, there's not a lot of overdubs on the guitars.
Yeah.
It's very occasional you will hear that, but yeah, like if you listen to Turn It Again, John pretty much used up an entire 24-track for guitar dubs, and he does that on, you hear it on Danny California, you can hear pretty much throughout the entire album.
Yeah.
Let's not overlook Rick Ross Rubin's contribution to the album.
We told you he was the number one fucking fan.
Yeah, there's a bit of lore there.
Yeah, Rick Rubin, obviously, I think, was this his last album with them? Or did he do I'm With You as well?
I have no idea.
No,
Sure.
See,
Got
you
a
didn't
chance.
bring your notepad, and now it's all going to shit, Jake.
It's produced
Asking
by...
questions you don't know.
Well, do you know what? There's this amazing thing, right? So I can have this screen up and talk to you guys and do the recording for the podcast. I can then press Alt-Tab, and it'll bring up the album details, Stadium Arcadium, where I've got notes typed up on a notepad. So, fuck you.
Well, are you like a wizard?
Well, Rick Rubin looks like one.
Yeah.
I don't know how that applies to me, but he does. But yes, Rick Rubin did I'm With You as well, and then The Getaway was somebody different, I believe. Unless I am seriously stupid. I could be. Who knows?
So one of my favorite things personally about this album is that how it goes back and forth between the line of doing like really commercial or mainstream sounding songs that just people are going to love, that still have that funky tone or still sound very much Chili's. And then they have some songs on here that are like they're still experimenting loads and doing weird shit, especially with production on this album.
Well, yeah, it's the fact that you can have commercial sounding songs or sort of commercially aimed songs, I suppose. Although I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much planning in what they're doing with it. It's just a lot of jamming and sound, but it doesn't sound like they're trying to reach an audience. It's just these sound great because of the Chili Peppers for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is what I love. Now, on an episode that hasn't come out yet, which is only one, the Iron Maiden episode.
Yeah.
I thought Ryan had gone to sleep then. just eyes closed, looking down. So with the Iron Maiden album, we went through song by song pretty much, didn't we? Well, we did.
Yeah, this is a massive album to do that on, though.
That's what I was thinking. I wanted to run that for you first. Well, we could do it disc by disc.
We could do it, but disc by disc. We could actually do that.
That'll make more sense. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the songs sort of as we go through the discs. Now, I am going to sound like a complete and utter shitbag now. Mars is the first disc, isn't it? And then Jupiter is the second one. Or have I got it the wrong way around?
What one starts with Danny California?
Amateur Hour.
That's the opening track.
Is it the other way around, right?
Yeah, it's just, come on.
It's all I know is they're all good, all right? I can leave it out. I should have had my notebook, really. It would have made life a lot easier.
Yeah, listen to Connor. Connor's a voice of reason on this thing.
Yeah. I'm glad we have someone coming out and confirming to me that because that's how I feel, man. I feel like I police this show.
I appreciate your contribution, Connor. I can't imagine we got put up with on a weekly basis.
I mean, I do not appreciate your contribution.
Policing this wild card.
I don't need policing. I need taming. I need somebody just to occasionally say, Jake, perhaps you shouldn't say some of the shit you say.
I try my best to rein you in, man, but it's not possible a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, these things happen. But hey ho. Right,
You're gone, Jake.
I've done broke something, haven't I?
Oh, you burrowed into the back of my head.
Yeah, you've gone all quiet.
Have I gone quiet?
Yeah, you're like at a distance.
Well, I shouldn't be. I take it my visuals have disappeared.
You're in a void.
Yeah. You've gone.
Yeah, okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm back. There
we go.
There, let me get back to the lab. I'm back in the lab. Yeah, sorry, I disappeared. So for people who don't know, the loremaster knows, so we don't need to explain this to him, but we record all these on webcam as well, so there's no hope in hell of us setting up a Patreon and these being released at any point, purely because I delete them because they take up so much fucking space. But I mean, it would be a money-making scheme if we had more fans to do that with, but hey-ho. And I disappeared. So we are going to be looking at the first disc, which is Jupiter, according to my research.
that you knew all along and did not have to get corrected on.
Now, to be fair, I don't know what I bothered saying that I know it. And it's not as though I actually edit these things properly. Like, I don't take out any of my gaps. If I did, I have sense to do that. So we've got 14 songs on Jupiter and 14 songs on Mars. So they like to keep things steady as we go along. So opening song is, I would say, it's the biggest fucking song off the album, isn't it? It's Danny California.
It's one of and it's one of their biggest songs of all time, easily.
Well, it's the lead single, and it garnered massive attention. Now, do you boys remember the music video for it?
Really?
Yeah.
Where they do that little where they sort of go through time dressing up as
different band members, or like kind of big iconic bands or big iconic looks, where they kind of look like the Beatles or kind of look like Kiss.
Yeah, you've got the whole proper glam thing with John rocking a guitar with a big feather boa and that stuff, the big old glasses. Now, it's a good song. That's all I've got to say. People.
I mean,
it's Stone Cold classic.
It is.
It is. I have to admit that this is I still love this song, but it is kind of getting into that zone of like, do you know, like Oasis Wonderwall, where you're like, fuck me, they always play like it's Danny California again. I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to Storm in a Teacup or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that way about By the Way. I don't listen to that song anymore.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a case of when you get massive singles, and when they're that fucking good, they're gonna get overplayed.
Well, I think By the Way though has the unfortunate issue of being an alright song on an album with Venice Queen and Universally Speaking and This Is the Place, with a great guitar part that you used to be able to do by mouth, if I remember.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop.
But this is Danny California is definitely like one of those.
Sorry, that was a joke from 10, 12 years ago. Maybe about 10.
This is becoming like overly masturbatory. This is us feeling nostalgic about our own podcast, making references to ourselves.
I was hoping that saying This Is the Place would just lure him into doing it instantly, but...
Wait, is this me? I don't remember this.
Do you not remember it?
I don't remember this.
It was when we used to do the random little things where, like, I would do
Duel of the Fates, yeah? Is this...
Yeah, that sort of thing. But it would be where we used to sit there and I'd do like random drum beats, and you'd go like Zephyr song and do it by mouth. I can't play drums. But I remember once I was doing the intro riff for This Is the Place, and you just did the perfect version of that little guitar part at the start. You've got like the vibrato perfect, the effects on it perfect. I'm disappointed you don't remember that. It was like the happiest day of my life. I've led quite a sad existence.
It meant something to me, Ryan.
No, it's just
meant something.
It was just a fun memory. But yeah, Danny California, I know exactly what you mean with it being sort of oversaturated to an extent, but
to the point of like, if someone says, "Oh, I don't know who the Red Hot Chili Peppers are," you'll go, "But you definitely know this song," and they'll be like, "Oh, that's a Red Hot Chili. I didn't know that was by them."
Like, oh my god,
yeah,
I'm like totally from Virginia.
That's not how Virginians sound.
How do you know?
Mate, because I know some in it. I've been around. I'm not flexing, but I've been around.
America, much like the UK, does have a generality of accents when it comes to certain proportions of the population.
All right, I don't want to get into a debate of this.
Yes, you see, because I sounded intelligent, you back down. You buckled like a bell. But I have some factoids.
Go.
Or a factoid. So, do you know what their influence was for Danny California in terms of musical influence?
No.
Wu-Tang Clan.
No way. That's really cool.
Yeah, they were big Wu-Tang fans. Flea wanted sort of like the drum beat from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Which way you get the start of Danny California, and they just threw guitar, bass, and riffed out over the top of it.
Nice. That's really sick. I didn't know that.
And another factoid. I wasn't totally Googling on my phone. I wasn't actually. I was Tindering, but hey ho. So the other factoid is obviously Danny California is the only song on the album which links back to several different songs from previous albums, which
Oh,
started back in
someone-
1999.
Yeah, someone's listening to the audio commentary.
The audio commentary as well, by any chance?
Yeah.
Yes,
I have in the past.
I did it when I listened to it earlier, like just to bone up on research. But also that's like a fact that known for years.
Yeah,
Because
I had no idea I didn't know audio commentary for an album is a thing.
yeah, they did it for the special edition of the album, I believe. But if you listen to the album on Spotify, which is awesome, it's tacked on there. It's one big thing. But you can also find some of the commentary snippets they did for video on YouTube.
All right, that's sick.
Yeah, mate, I take pride in being a nerd.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't know which way the discs go.
Yeah. Got you there.
Yeah, you do.
You poser nerd. You part-time nerd.
Phony.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're a cunt, all right?
All right, fine. All right. Shit, don't prod the bear.
Yeah, I can dish it out, but I don't like to take it. I'm a weakling. Yeah, all right. I'm half nerd, half jock. I'll settle for that.
Power bomb.
Of course.
Boy. But yeah, obviously he starts Californication through By the Way, ends up in Danny California. There we go. And we have a nice little guitar solo at the end as well.
Yeah,
That's a good song.
that song.
Lovely.
Sick song.
And the next song, Snow, Heyo.
Yeah, I love this song. For years, Snow was like maybe my favorite Chili's song.
How about you, Rye?
I like it. I know what your opinion is, Jake, but
You can see.
you're outnumbered, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know I am. I think it's overrated. The
Yeah,
guitar,
man.
I'll say the guitar riff on it, for Chance intro and that is excellent. It's really hard to play, but
Yeah.
I was never a big fan of this song.
Oh, I love it, man. I think it's such a happy, like, good message. It's really like makes you happy to listen to. Sort of, you put this on a sunny day and you're smiling. It's good. Hate to sound like a hippie about it, but I like it. Okay.
Do you remember when we saw Live and Flea did the full-on hippie routine? Hey, peace and love, people, peace and love.
Yeah.
Everybody wants some peace and love. But, yeah, I don't know. I just never got on with this song.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But like I said, it's not a bad song. It's just one of those songs where you sort of go, where I go anyway. You lot obviously don't, but where I go, it's there. I will play it on bass when I do the full album runs.
Yes.
And
fair enough.
all that kind of jazz. Now, song number 3 is excellent, Charlie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a beast song.
Fucking
Yeah.
fantastic song.
Bit more like old school Chili's compared to the first two. Like definitely less commercially. Even though I agree, I don't think they go to make commercial songs, but they've always dabbled in a load of different genres. And where you'd say that the first two songs are a bit more like standard accessible rock, this starts to come away to their more niche shit again. Good shit.
So yeah, it's just got the funk rhythm in playing through it.
Which is
But
nowadays my favorite kind of Chili's when they get more funky.
But also has the benefit of overdub on guitars. Lots of overdubbers on that one.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I don't know what Charlie's making him do, but he's making him do something. But do you know what that song's about?
It's about Charlie, mate. Easy, move on, done.
It's when you say Charlie, you're of course using street lingo.
Yes, of course. I knew. Yeah. I'm glad you could read
However-
the context of what I was saying.
However, sir, I wish to counter you. It is not about that.
Wow, you set me up to fail. I didn't even know it was about that.
If you had done your research and listened to the audio commentary, as clearly both me and Ryan have at points in our lives, Charlie is...
Charlie Chaplin.
That'll be
He does a good black and white. This is Anthony.
black or white. This is my power. No, I just like the idea that Charlie Chaplin's coming back from the past to like tell him to do stuff. So Charlie's making me do this. I don't want to do a slapstick fool. No, it's Charlie is used as a term for his imagination.
Oh,
So
so he calls like Charlie is like subconscious or like
as his imagination.
right. Oh yeah, yeah. What you did is you repeated it twice, and now I understand fully.
I call my imagination Lorenzo.
Is it Hispanic?
He is, yeah.
I like the idea that in Ryan's
Yeah.
mind it's Spain or like Mexico.
Doesn't
Yeah,
make me
it's-
smile though. He makes me cry.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, you
Oh,
also Lorenzo. Lorenzo's making me cry. And rather than like no 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 no, it would just be no 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 no. That's my musical interpretation of Charlie. Song number 4 is the titular song. It's Stadium Arcadium.
Brilliant song.
Yeah, I like it.
I've always really loved the lyrics in this song.
Yeah. Tell us some more
Nice.
about it. Expound upon it so we can.
I know. I don't know. I just like the imagery. I think Anthony always does really good imagery sometimes. I always just like the idea of like when he says a mirror to the moon and everything like that. It just paints a really clear picture in your head. And I think this song specifically, out of a lot of Chili songs, really does it for me. You know me, I've said this before. I listen to music first and the lyrics later, and a lot of the times I don't really hone into lyrics. And I will admit that with Chili songs specifically, because a lot of the times it sounds like nonsense.
Well,
It's
yeah,
good
he makes about
nonsense.
as much sense as Dr. Zeus, doesn't he? So
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of that's because he just basically freestyles over the top of the music side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Exactly.
how he started doing it back in '83.
Yeah, but I think with one or two of their songs and this song being one of them, you actually do the lyrics are actually in the forefront of the song.
Well, yeah, it's quite pared back. So the bass is fairly quiet and routine throughout it.
Yeah.
The guitar is obviously a lot slower.
And the
throughout most parts.
harmonies are so fucking good in this song.
Well,
Which
yeah, I mean,
they're always amazing.
yeah, we're
Clearly.
4 songs in, and we've yet to mention that John Frusciante isn't just a guitarist; he is also an excellent fucking singer. Arguably a better singer than Anthony, like in terms of technical singing, but is always like the perfect backup vocalist for the band. Which is a shame because Josh Klinghoffer was also a great backup vocalist. He just wasn't John. Which that was his blessing and his curse. Like you can be unique in your own style, but ultimately you're not John.
That's true.
Which is a shame. God bless that man.
Yeah, very, very fucking good though. When I saw them last, like, he actually really stole the show.
Here we go. I saw him at the pyramids.
I didn't say that. You said that. I was just saying when I saw them last, he really stole the show. But when he did his cover of Pyramids, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Josh Klinghoffer is a very good singer and a guitarist.
Yeah.
But he worked. I'm pretty sure I said this before on the Gary one. Like he worked a lot with John on the John solo stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, they're just really good friends, and he's good friends with the band, which is why he joined the band.
I mean, I don't know how that friendship's holding up right this second.
Yeah, I know.
I think he said they're still good friends, and he knew, like, sort of, with John coming in.
Imagine just getting pushed out of the Chili's. That's a sad day.
Imagine how
they could have done something really good if they just kept them around.
Yeah.
5 of them.
It would really change the dynamic of them, but they've got enough material that they can start switching it up.
Yeah, the issue is I just don't know. I think with them it was probably a sense of they wouldn't know how that would look or work because they've always only had the one guitarist, apart from obviously when touring.
Is he not multi-instrumental? I thought he could play.
He does. He did keys for them when touring as well. He plays. Well, I'll say he plays bass, but you've got Flea, so you don't really need an extra bassist.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, like, if there's one thing about, like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's their synergy. And that synergy is better when you have Frusciante. Because just that lineup of those 4, they just fucking jam for hours and it always sounds like gold.
Oh, God, yeah. You listen to any of their jams when they're playing live. And the way it all blends and moves. And that's not just from John and Flea as well. If you look at Chad.
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
We've neglected to mention, but he's a fucking awesome drummer.
Oh, he's the boy, man. He's the drummer. Like, no one drums like Chad. And he makes a snare sound like no one else. I've said this before in the last Chili's podcast, but I respect that Will Ferrell-looking son of a bitch so much.
He's got a jam farm, do you know? And his
Sick.
charity is taking instruments away from kids.
Oh fuck.
For people who never watched it was Jimmy Fallon they did that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The drum off between Chad and Will Ferrell. They do look
Yeah.
very similar.
They look crazy similar.
So yeah, Stadium Arcadium, it does have good imagery. It's got great backing vocals. It's a good song. It's
You like
solid.
it, Jake? I recall you not liking that one so much.
Yeah, I think I've probably grown to like it more over the years. I think when I first heard it, I was still very much, I don't know, I wanted things that were sort of faster and heavier a lot more when I was a teen. I was messed up, all right? I can grow. I can grow. Well, forgetting that my favourite album that I picked was The Holy Bible by the Manics. So complete tone shift. But yeah, I think as I got older, I sort of learned how to play the entirety of the album on bass. I probably got more appreciation from it musically and from playing guitar for more years now. Song number 5 was a song that I remember you disliking, Ryan. Before we get into it, is Hump de Bump.
The song's like a meme.
I did.
I got to pay to get in my own block party. It's got Chris Rock in the music video. It's a block party. Chris Rock only agreed to do it if the Chili's were the only white people in the video.
Really?
That is my factoid for you.
Fair.
Come from the humble mind. And to be fair, I will give a shout out now. That was a fact that was given to me by Mr. Gary Brookham.
Nice. Good going, Gary.
He does have his uses.
Man, this song is so funky, man. I just love this song musically. It's crazy. I really like the cowbell. I don't know why, but there's like this cowbell going all the way through, which is the best.
Well, it stands to reason then that people thought it was Will Ferrell as well.
Yeah.
That just added another layer of confusion. It's like, more cowbell. Also, it's I think it's the only song on the album, like on both discs, it's in a different tuning. Because it's drop D.
So this is just like a fun song. I don't think it's like a serious song, but it's a fun song. I don't.
It's called Hump to Bump. It wasn't set out to be a fucking serious masterpiece.
Did you used to not like it because of like it was just a fuck around song, or?
I don't know why I didn't like it, but yeah, you're right. It is fun, and I like it now.
Yeah, I think
that's all there is to say. I don't know.
I'm gonna put words.
Ryan's like, don't fight me, man.
I'm gonna put words in the teenage Ryan's mouth here. Well, tough. You've got no choice in the matter. I've already started this sentence, and there's no stopping me now. I think it's quite. What? Yeah. We will be talking about them at some point as well.
You know what could stop you then is a little thing called AIDS.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Fuck's sake! Yes. I can't rein both of you in. I don't know. I don't know whether Ryan listening to this podcast alone has just made him into this. Oh yeah, I can confidently say stupid shit over the internet.
This is the issue I used to have at school. I would be the one who would get caught chatting and dicking about and being a tosspot. Ryan was there with me 95% of the time doing the same things. It's just he was quiet. He was sensible enough to be quiet about it.
Yeah, he was that.
We're looking.
The man in the shadows egging you on and watching you suffer when you're caught.
I didn't so much suffer as I just kept getting away with things. And it continued from there to this day. But yeah, no, what I was going to say is I think because it's such a dynamic shift musically from what was coming before it, it could have been quite unsettling for the teenage mind.
Yeah, fair.
Brittle fuck.
But I like it. I think it harkens back to like their
Oh, you've missed me. I can tell.
No, I like the song a lot. I think it harkens back to like their earlier stuff.
Yeah, whilst not sounding derivative or like it's them trying to recapture glories of old, like Metallica.
Yeah. It's just them having fun.
Yeah, and it's quite a nice, fun, simple song. The bass line, I'm going to talk about bass lines a lot because it's fucking Chili Peppers and it's Flea. The bass during the chorus section, it's fucker to play.
Yeah, this song I imagine on every instrument is fucker to play. Actually, it's one of those songs that sounds way simpler than it is.
Yeah, I think for the most part, you're doing on the bass. I can't speak for the guitar because I've never learned guitar for this one. But for the bass, you're playing like you're doing popping on the strings.
Mm.
but you're also playing chords effectively on it. It's easy enough to play apart from that chorus, but it's just a weird setup, and obviously in drop D it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Now, next song number 6 by my calculations. This is a song that you're going to talk about a lot, Connor, because I know you like this one. She's only 18.
Mate, this is one. Oh, I fucking love this song. This is another lyrical song for me. Like, I fucking love the journey this song takes you on.
I think every song on the album is lyrical.
Fair. I mean,
There's
because
no
they have lyrics. Well done.
It's
I meant
my...
words are at the forefront, my friend.
Yes, yeah, the words draw you in. I understand. I understand.
So the thing about this album as well, which we haven't the choruses sound really epic, and I don't know how else to describe that, but like they open up a sound and they just sound like they're screaming out like to the universe or something, man. Like
I imagine that is exactly how they would describe the songs themselves.
Exactly, yeah. Like the like when this song just gets into the chorus and it's like knock the world, and it's just like I don't know, it's just so big and it's so nice and it's like really euphoric to listen to.
Sorry, I will when you just realised I haven't actually taken my proper medication for the day. So I'm just quickly taking them now so that I can say that I have remembered to take them. It's not going to do me much good for the next couple of hours, really, but
Fair.
I've taken it.
But yeah, I suppose what I'm getting at is like this but for what I'm getting at, like for example, this song, it just starts off with like a really simple bass riff, and you think, oh yeah, this is just going to be like another little like funky tune, and then by the time you get into the chorus, and it just sounds so big, and like that's the thing, they do the unexpected, and it's the best.
Well, yeah, it's quite. The verses are quite sort of slow, laid back with that bass going through it, and it's sort of nice little bass riff, and then choruses, distortion on, everything's heavy.
Yeah, and I love like the guitar riff during the verses as well, where he's doing like these. He's put a lot of like what do you call it?
I don't know.
Like modulation to the guitar or something. It's like
reverb.
Kind of. It's like a wah pedal sort of shit. And it's done well. Not.
Damn it!
I'm trying not to take Metallica bait. You mentioned them a minute ago, and I stayed real quiet.
I know. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's got a funky feel to it, which with that little guitar in there, little bit of effects on it.
I do think some songs on this album like sound quite similar, and so like the next song on the album, I'm stealing your job, mate. The next song on the album is Slow Cheater.
I was struggling with my tablet.
But yeah, no, the next song on the album is Slow Cheater, which is an equally as good song. But I think She's Only 18 and Slow Cheater are like really similar songs. I don't like that they're right next to each other on the album.
I don't know. For me, I think they're different enough where it's fine. I prefer Slow Cheater.
Fair. But it's also another one of those songs with like simple, like kind of funky verses, but then a huge.
Are you listening to the right song?
Yeah.
I wouldn't describe the verses as funky.
Not funky. All right.
I describe them as melancholy, acoustic, slow.
Okay, that's it then. All right, we'll do that.
It's not like fucking Parliament suddenly kicked in there, is it?
No, but what I mean, I was when I said funky, I was talking about like She's Only 18. But the point is like they're much more condensed verses, and then they go into these huge epic choruses.
Kind of. Slow Cheat is a really good song on the album, brah. Sorry, we had to take a short intermission. We do that occasionally. If people don't like it, they can kiss my ass. But yeah, we're talking about Slow Cheater. Slow Cheater is a fantastic song on the album, I think. Connor's point was that it's too close to She's Only 18.
Yeah, still an excellent song.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing about the song that I didn't really notice until, and I would encourage anyone who listens to this, which is literally us three, and occasionally some people in Virginia, maybe India, search for John Frusciante singing Slow Cheater. it's a sort of edited version, so you can only hear sort of John's guitar and his backing vocals. His backing vocals during the chorus are a thing of beauty because he slips. He goes from major into minor.
He gets, and he goes so fucking high.
He doesn't on this one so much because he goes into minor rather than anything else. It's sort of probably the lower end of his range. That he's singing.
Someone though in the harmonies is going super high in the.
He does.
chorus.
He does during the last chorus.
Oh right, that's the one that sticks in my mind because it sounds so fucking great.
Yeah, so I think he overdubs his harmonies on the last chorus. But there's one where when he does the slow cheetah come, blah blah blah, he drops it down, it flows perfectly. Yes, that was me forgetting the lyrics briefly. Which is a shame considering me and Connor had a sing along to it just seconds ago. I hit some high notes. Your thoughts on Slow Cheetah Rye?
Good.
Thank you. We need to get you on every podcast as like a gimmick. You just chime in with one word. It'd be excellent.
I mean, you're talking to someone who has a very tenuous relationship with music.
And why is that?
No, I don't listen to a lot.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
You listen to us more than you listen to music. I'll take that.
Yeah, you're about right.
Well, I suppose there's a difference. You don't have to listen to the things, but you can listen to me and Connor talking absolute nonsense.
Well, something else you talk about sometimes is you say about Jake. You said before that you're like lyrics first, music second.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm like the opposite.
Yeah, and I would agree. I'm like you, Connor. I don't look into the meaning of lyrics whatsoever. It's just all about how it sounds to me. So, sounds good. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think for me, it's obviously you lot all know the majority of my issues growing up. Severe depression, which I didn't really deal with until I became an adult or anything like that. So, music was a form of escapism, the same way as me being a dick in school was. So, like picking out lyrics and finding things that were relevant to me made me feel like I wasn't made me feel like I wasn't distant from other humans by this barrier of mental health. Even though I sat throughout the day having a laugh with the pair of you, I then still feel like I was distant somehow because of my own many issues. It's great. I've had therapy now. I'm healed. That's how it works.
In recovery.
Oh yeah, no. I say I've had therapy. I've had many years of CBT, which had to stop actually.
People find their own therapy.
Yeah. There's lots of therapy that I could recommend, which I probably shouldn't recommend. So next song on the album, Torture Me. That was just a request.
I like just slide that in every now and then. Someone had me.
Yeah, it's a grooving song. Great bass, fast paced, aggressive. It is what it is.
I mean, so the problem, what is kind of good about doing this formula is that we can really dig deep into the songs that we are fucking phenomenal. But the problem is when an album is just consistently great, there's going to be songs that just aren't quite as like stand out as the rest, but you still go, yes, so this song here it's just good. Listen to it. And it doesn't make for great podcasting.
Now, all right, to be fair then, this is more of a newer concept we're trying.
yeah, true.
But yeah, that's the thing, like, we can literally just go, Torture Me, yeah, good, next song.
Yeah, which we are about to do now.
However, I am going to say, Torture Me and Strip My Mind, which is the next song, are the perfect mirror for each other.
Right. Yeah, I can see.
Musically speaking, because Torture Me, very fast-paced verses, slow choruses, and then vice versa for Strip My Mind. Although Strip My Mind never really picks up until the solo like that. But yeah, Strip My Mind is another one for me where it's a really good song. It's just there though. It's not like a...
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as like, I don't skip them. Like, I'll still listen to them. But there's nothing that you're frothing over.
Yeah. Although I did learn the guitar for it today. Because it's quite easy. It's just 4 chords. Even I can do that with my limited guitar skills. I think it's more than 4 chords. It's like 6 chords. I can't remember. A minor, C, G, I think a D's in there, F's in there, which I can play on my thin neck guitar with my tiny hands without having to use like a fucking inverted F type chord.
Yeah. So what about you, Ryan? Like, for these songs, are you sort of like, I dig every single song on this album, or like, are you, as you were saying, you're not massive into music, so is this song like greatest hits for you, or?
I agree with what you said, Connor, really. So, you get down in California, Snow, Charlie, Stadium Arcadium. I think those are good openers.
Yeah.
I'll listen to all of those. She's only 18, Slow Cheetah, great. And then I'm probably skipping through to, especially in Michigan, through to Wet Sand. I'm not listening to everything.
Yeah. Well, shall we instead then just go around the highlights?
Yeah, I mean,
if we're doing it for 2 discs,
yeah,
it's going to make very boring for us then. Going good.
I think what we can say is that like this album is consistently great, and it is all really fucking good, and not necessarily like it's not the case of some of the other albums we've said where it's just like, yeah, the songs are right, but I skip them or I don't like them. Obviously, it's the case of Rhyme, but
I agree with Ryan on songs to be skipped though, especially in Michigan. I don't mind it. It's just not one that I'm particularly fond of.
Yeah. Fair.
And then Warlocks is a weird song. And
Warlocks is probably the song I've listened to least on these albums.
Yeah.
Don't think it's a bad song. Is there any songs on this album that you think are bad? Like outright bad songs?
Yes. If.
You don't like If?
I kind of like If. Never used to.
Yeah, I've always hated it. So the bass line in it is fantastic. I'll give Flea that. That song though they could have just stuck with 13 songs on Mars. And it would have been a better second half for that.
I think the album could have been smaller. They could have not that the songs are bad, but you could have just cut them because there are so many other songs on this. Like you said, Wet Sand. Well, there are so many other songs on this album that I like fucking A grade. I love Wet Sand.
That's the thing, like, so whereas I could support that on some double albums, I think this does work as a double album. It is good to listen to the whole thing. It's just there's only a couple of songs which I don't really have any strong feelings about. It's not like there's an album coming out which we will be reviewing or talking about shortly as a 25th anniversary, which is a double album where you could take out, I think it's got like 20, a similar number, like 28, 27 songs.
You could take long beast.
You could take out
not in a good way.
Yeah, you can take out 17 of those songs and it would have been the perfect album. Whereas with this, like, I wouldn't really want to take anything out because there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
So then the next milestone on the album, I'm going to briefly mention Come On Girl, but I don't know if we've all got, anyone's got a strong opinion on that one.
His voice sounds really different.
Yeah. And it's just that, I think Flea described it as the hardest bass line on the entire album.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because your fingers are constantly going, and it's basically a case of survival until you get to the chorus.
Yeah, that's another one where it reminds me of like a lot of earlier Chili's as well.
Oh, bass. I'll always go back to the bass. I know it's probably uninteresting for non-bass players, but bass-wise, it reminds me of Right on Time.
Yeah,
Right on Time. Yeah. Obviously, not the slap part throughout the verses, but during the chorus, you got the diddle diddle that Flea can't play live, or he can, but with the same level of skill that I play it, where we both just occasionally hit dead notes because we're there going, how are your fingers have to go this fast? I don't like it. So the main pillar point of the first disc, Jupiter, for me is this song Wet Sand.
Yeah, Wet Sand's fucking phenomenal.
Amazing.
One of my all-time favourite Chili songs.
Yeah, it's a crazy. So this second half of this second album, or this second half of the album, I suppose, has a lot more like slower. More...
We're talking about the first disc still.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, you are. My bad. Don't worry what I was about to say.
There's 2 songs left on disc 1, which is Wet Sand.
Yeah.
And
my
Hey.
phone's done the numbering all weird.
It's cool. I'm helping us, so I've got it up.
Yeah.
So Wet Sand, phenomenal fucking song. One of my top 5 Chili songs. Fun to play, fun to listen to. And lest we forget that fucking solo.
Yeah. That's what you go there for.
It's one of the easiest solos in the world.
It sounds so good.
Exactly. It's the right solo for the right song at the right time. Coming in with a high bend. It's perfect. And from what I understand as well, it wasn't like... You'll find some guitarists will sit down and they'll practice for days when writing a solo for one song, and they'll spend hours. Kirk Hammett does that. The only way he didn't do it for was The Unforgiven, and that's because he was trying to do that, and Bob Rock got fed up with him and said, well, go on there, if you're the guitar player of the year, fucking play me a solo. And he did Unforgiven, which is good going. But Wet Sand is that for John Frusciante. He literally just sat down and played that solo, and it was perfect.
Yeah, but so the thing is about them as a band in general, we've said it before, but they're just all about this flow and feeling, and that's why they just can make such great shit off the spot. I imagine all of their songs come from jamming.
For the most part, I think they'll come in with a riff at times, and then they'll all jam it out.
Yeah.
And then what they have as well is they have a jam off or face off. So if you've got, say, like Flea and John thinks the jam should go another direction.
Yeah.
If Flea wants it to go another way, they go away, work on their ideas, come back and present it to each other. But when I first heard the term jam off, I thought they would literally stand like 20 paces apart and jam closer at one another until one of them chickens.
When you said jam off there, I just imagine like Great British Bake Off.
Right, we're gonna cook this out.
Well,
better dish writes the song.
Well, yeah, they do it. They do it down at Chad's Jam Houses. They do it.
That's the thing. I can't tell if you're serious.
What?
About Chad's Jam Houses. That's
No.
Jam.
No, it's from SNL.
All right. Okay.
It's from Fallon. It was when they were doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when Fallon had Will and Chad on together.
Yeah.
Chad went on his Will went on his Chad, and Will was talking about how as Chad he's got all these jam houses.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we recorded that one at Jam House number 4. That's where all the major jamming happens.
But yeah, the thing about Frusciante is, like, if you watch them live as well, we were talking, I think, last time we were together, Jake, about what gig was it? They were in Reading or something before.
Oh yeah, we both literally within minutes of each other had watched the Reading 2007
live gig. Yeah, and like sometimes when he plays, especially when he's doing solos and stuff, he just looks possessed. It's similar to what you've heard about people like Santana and shit like that, but like it just looks completely like fucked up either by drugs or by the music. It's probably both.
I think he's just in the zone, in the moment. It goes back to like discussions we used to have years ago about, well, I think this guitar is better because of the feeling and emotion he puts into a solo, when really it's just because he enjoys what he's doing and he's creative. And
but it takes a lot of musical skill to just be able to know and jam off, feeling the vibe of a song and just completely musically make something on the spot that fits it so perfectly. And then but that's made purely out of your emotional feel for the situation.
Well, yeah, that's certainly easier for John because he does have a lot of musical theory knowledge as well. So as long as he knows what key he's got to be in, and he knows how the original solo sounds well, so it always usually follows the pattern of like the original solo.
Yeah, but he'll mess around with it, yeah. Which I prefer, by the way. Like, I'm like, when I see a band live, I'd like them to change shit up like that, because if I want to listen to it perfectly, then I'll just listen to the album.
If you were to see Metallica live, would you want Kirk Hammett to start trying to do free bass solos?
Nah. But
or would you want him to try and stick to what he can't already play?
Yeah, but he doesn't do that either. Anyway, what he's done instead is he just chucks a load of wow on and does some random nonsense.
Yeah, he only actually plays like one note nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
One note, he's got like a repeater on there. and it's all under wah and distortion, so nobody hears. But that's the thing, yeah. Like, I think a lot of bands it wouldn't work for. It works for the Chili's because that's how they play and how they write as well.
Yeah, completely. It's the synergy, like we were saying.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's just this. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever known of another band with the same level of chemistry.
No,
Because
you're right.
Flea can start doing something after a bar. John's suddenly in there on top of it, and everything sounds right. Like one of my favourite live performances of theirs, the Slane Castle one.
Yeah.
And if you watch Californication with the intro jam, it's so fucking beautiful and perfect.
Yeah.
Like if that song was made into a woman, that woman would be like the sheerest perfection of beauty. I wasn't going anywhere crude, right? For a change. I was going to talk about how I could see you.
Right, he had a nervous face on his
you certainly not a woman you've matched with on Tinder.
We
don't talk about Tinder on the podcast.
However, feel free to share all these funny stories with your partner. It'll be fine. My mate Jake. Who?
I would say as well, like the style of music that the Chili's play makes it easier for them to be able to do that sort of shit as well. In terms of flow and synergy, like because again, if I was to bring up like the Arctic Monkeys, they play a much more formulaic genre of music that it would be really hard to just make some shit on the spot to that on a live gig because everything is so well planned and structured.
I think the thing is though, you could still viably do
it's possible
something different. It's just having that confidence, the ability to be able to do something. It's John Frusciante is another level, especially at this time. He was at his sort of God Jesus phase.
I completely agree, and I think it's more impressive when a band can do that. I mean, that's why I love the Stone Roses, because they sound like they jam when they were a thing back in the 80s and 90s, but there's whole jams in their songs, and all of the music just flows so well. It feels like it was created spontaneously.
Exactly. So, and it's always nice having that kind of feel, but whereas the only issue with Stone Roses, it feels like it's created spontaneously, and that's how it's recorded, whereas the Chili's will create it spontaneously, but then there is production given to it.
Yeah, and then they'll perfect it, sort of thing.
Well, I'm just trying to work out, because so Flea had no musical theory knowledge at all, which is astounding considering the shit that he plays. But I'm 99% sure before Stadium Arcadium he went to Berkeley or somewhere similar to study music theory.
Oh right.
Which is when he started playing chords on the bass as well, which we'll get to later on another of the standouts from the album. But I do also want to say Hey is an excellent song, very underrated.
Yeah, Hey's a good song. I think that's one that's grown with me over time.
Oh, well, funnily enough, Flea uses chords on that one. I forgot about that. That ties into my point perfectly.
Yeah, I think as time's gone by, like, because the second half of this album, which we're going to get into, sort of thing, I never used to listen to much. I quite liked a lot of. I listened to the first half a lot more when I was younger because it had all of the big hits on it, and it had much more of these, like, I'd say more conventional song structure sort of thing. But when you get into the second half of this album, there's some really weird tracks which I didn't like for a long time, or wasn't as keen on for a long time. But as time's gone on, I think a lot more of the stuff in the second half of the album is better than the first.
I would slightly disagree. I think the second half. I think the first half for me is always going to be the best because it's got Wet Sand, and it's that.
Yeah.
If that was the last song, though, that would have been the perfect last song, and then Hey could have been done on the second disc instead of If.
Yeah.
And everybody would have been happy, and it would have been 13 and 13, and there'll be no mathematical issues then. But yeah, you open up with Desecration Smile, which is just a
great song.
Really good song, yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
that's one of my favourites on the album. One of them.
It's phenomenal. the backing vocals as well. Again, Frusciante.
The beast.
I know the people who listen to this will go, this John Frusciante fella, like Jake's got a real hard on for him. It's true. He is, without a doubt, a musical prodigy. Like, he joined Chili's when he was 19. He's a phenomenal guitarist. He knows what he does.
Like,
He
he's
knows
really
what
well
to do.
loved. He's really well loved and respected, but he probably is still underrated.
Yeah, it's that weird thing, because obviously it seems as though the way the general public, the riffraff, would judge guitar players is sort of like how many notes they play in succession, rather than the actual writing and ability to play guitar in a sort of cohesive way, and the level of creativity. Like, there'll be some people who would sit there and tell, well, clearly Joe Satriani or Sebastian, what's his fucking name? Michael Battio, people like that.
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert. Well, they're clearly the best guitarists. It's okay.
Yeah, or like bands like Dragon Force or anything out where they just do a load of mental shit, and it's technically, it's technical guitaring. It's astonishing.
Well, it's amazing technical guitaring. It's great when you can record something in the studio at 50% the speed and then speed it up on a record. Makes you sound better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looking at you, Herman Lee, you're on my shit list.
But I don't think that's not why most people, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but most people don't listen to music to think about it technically. And that's not what music is, I suppose. No one has a right of saying what music is supposed to be about, but if I was gonna, I'd say it's about like emotion and evoking emotion and stuff like that. And that's why good musicians who can tap into that are even better.
Well, yeah, I think that's when you differentiate sort of music from just being something people are good at and can play well, to music being an art form or a form of expression.
Yeah.
And for me, all of the stuff I write is never on this level, and it's usually pretty shitty. It's all about expressing myself in some way. So it's usually a lot of really weird tuned guitars making clunking heavy metal sounds. Whilst I go, kill me! like I'm a botchling from Witcher. Just kill me, please. I didn't know where I was going with that in the end. We lost that train.
Fair.
That will be the sleeping tablet, that will. But yeah, Desperation Smile, excellent. Tell Me Baby, blow my brains out.
Oh, really? You hate it?
Hey.
Fucking hate it.
What about you, Ryan?
No, I like that song. It's good.
Yeah.
I would, if I had a chainsaw, if I were to appear in that music video, I'd managed sneaking a chainsaw in. When I met the band, I would have cut John's guitar in half. No. But yeah, it's a fairly inoffensive song. It's not the one that gets my gears grinding.
I think I love it out of pure nostalgia because I just remember seeing the music video load. It was probably one of the first songs from the Chili's that I really, really like listen to regularly, sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember you loving it.
Yeah, it's nice, and when they play it live, it's good fun to chant along and sing along to.
Yeah, if they play it live, I'll have a sing along to it. It's, whatever song they say they're going to play live, I'm not going to boo them. Unlike some amongst our midst.
I booed only because I wanted one song and they didn't do it, but they did it the second time round, so it's all good.
You've forgiven them now?
Yeah, I have forgiven them.
I still like the gall to boo Californication. It was a strong move.
It was a bold statement.
It was. Hard to concentrate. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah. But it does have the backstory of Flea had written the bass riff and he went to Anthony and say, hey, can you write the lyrics for this to be a proposal to my girlfriend? So it has sweet origins. It's just the same that it's a bit of nothing.
Feel bad now.
You are
Right,
incapable of feeling bad.
Fucking shit song.
No, I'm 99% certain that Ryan is a classic psychopath. He has no sympathy or empathy. He's just an unfeeling robot of hatred and pain. It would not surprise me if you turn out to be a serial killer. What's in those drawers behind you?
Turned out, what do you mean?
It's been active for a while. Well, that's his trophy case.
When he said earlier he works with the NHS, what he means he provides them with a lot of.
Harold Shipper worked in the NHS and all. There is actually thinking of serial killers and psychopaths. I do have a vast serial killer knowledge based on lots of readings. There is actually a FBI used term for serial killers who operate in hospitals who either overdose patients, things like that, to kill. And it's Angels of Mercy. They're known as.
There you are, Ryan. You have a title.
But he's more administrative rather than practicing physician.
Kills them with paperwork.
Yeah. Just every night he goes into the ICU and he just starts slowly cutting like paper cuts onto the jugular. Has to go back night after night. We'll get it deeper.
It's like breaking out of prison.
Like trying to file down.
I don't know what's happening. I've got this mark on my arm and it gets worse by the night.
Well, yeah, you want to do it to the patients who aren't going to be able to speak. Because otherwise there's going to be a patient who's going to, like, you don't want to just go into general A&E where somebody's got a broken foot and then try and find them to paper cut. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Excuse me?
And you certainly don't want to find a person who's suffering from epididymitis in the hospital and try and paper cut them, because they will not be happy. They've got more shit going on in their lives.
What is epididymitis?
I'm glad you asked. Epididymitis is an infection.
I fucking hate it. I hate biting the bait that you always throw up.
It's what I had a few months back, if you
Oh,
remember.
right.
I had testicle cancer.
Fair. See, now I feel bad about laughing.
Oh, no, it's a hilarious situation. That's why I brought it up. But yes, basically, it's the infected tube that brings your sperm in. It's your Vans deferens, that was called. But that tube gets infected. Usually get it from things like chlamydia. I didn't. I was one of the unfortunate ones who got a urine infection and then got it. But your testicle grows to the size of a melon. Like, it was actually... If a TV show was being made whilst I was having to walk around my house in those really loose-fitting shorts for the weeks in which my testicle was gigantic, it's like a boulder, it just looked like X-rated content. I had to walk through the house sideways so people couldn't see.
Oh no.
It was weird. But yeah, I had like 4 or 5 different people in the end playing with my bollocks at the hospital. I say playing with, it was checking, I think, to make sure I didn't have cancer or torsion. They did test me for COVID whilst I was in there as well, and I never found out the results.
That's bad.
Well, I'm 99% sure I was healthy. If it was anything bad...
Yeah, I know. No, you'd probably know about it now. But they should probably have let you know. Is what it is.
They didn't know their ass from their elbow, was it? Like, when it came to where they discharged me, whether being kept in, and in the end it was just, yeah, go. I was like, all right, bye.
Yeah. Hobbling
out, hiding. Having to look the poor nurse in the face who had to have a feel of my gonads and be like, I'm really, really sorry you had to go through that. I felt like I owed it to them, giving them a counselling session. I hadn't done any manscaping at that point. It was just... Thankfully, it was like finding an Easter Island statue, though, so it wasn't a hard tell. 21st century.
Yes.
I love that riff.
Yeah.
And it's about the 21st century. It's exactly as it says on the tin.
Yeah, another solid track, probably more towards one of the highlights of the track as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So there's definitely more solid songs on here, like things like "She Looks to Me." I really love.
Yeah.
The guitar again, the vocals, the backing vocals, everything about it is perfecto. Ready Made is probably one of my least.
Yeah, I get that.
However, do you know who wrote that bass riff?
No.
Because it was not Michael. I watched Anthony Kiedis fuck my sister Bowsery. aka Flea, it was John Frusciante wrote the bass riff with a pick.
No way. Fair.
Yeah,
He's such a talented man.
he is indeed. He's like a blind man who can catch a ball.
Mm.
Just supremely talented.
You're throbbing when you read that, weren't you?
What was that?
He was like, you were throbbing when you read that, weren't you?
When I read that.
You found that
Oh.
out about John?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, when you got that factoid.
Ah, well, you see, I listened to the commentary.
Did you, Jake? How very interesting.
I would have thrown it at Flea wrote it because I could throb over Flea some more. He looks like the kind of guy you'll be up for
Not
that.
say we're throbbing over people. I'm getting uncomfortable with the word.
I'm throbbing over you.
I don't. No.
That was the weakest, like, oh, no,
No.
no.
Oh, please don't. No.
Ooh, little to the left. That's how Rich Fulcher used to do every scene on Mighty Boosh. Yeah, She Looks at Me, Ready Made. I'm skipping If.
Yep. Bad
There's
song.
nothing to talk about with that song.
Why do you hate it so much? I just want to know.
It's just a really bland, boring crap song. It has no sense of belonging on the album.
Fair. That's fair.
Make You Feel Better is sort of like a much more typical, just straightforward light rock.
Yeah. It's a nice. I like it. It's a vibrant.
It's a nice song.
Listen.
Well, it's an expression of saying that you're the friends who make me happy.
Yeah, it's cute.
It is very cute song.
Yeah.
Animal Bar.
Yeah, I think
good.
Animal Bar belongs in the same category. I think these next 5 for me, take it or leave it. You just skip to the last 2.
See,
Ooh,
I
I'm
think
here.
I like Animal Bar. I don't love it, but I think from Animal Bar onwards, so from So Much I really fucking dig the end of this album now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't skip. Yeah, I would maybe skip up till So Much and then when I get to So Much listen to everything.
Yeah, all of these songs are wicked, man. I love them. I
Yeah,
love.
it's not to say I don't like these, but it's just I think it depends what mood you're in. For me, anyway.
What about Storm in a Teacup?
That's great, but
Yeah, you used to love that. That's what had me confused. I can understand for like We Believe.
I like We Believe as well. I really think this is a solid end to an album. I really like all of those songs a lot. And Storm in a Teacup is one of the best songs on the entire album. And so is Death of a Martian.
Death of a Martian is fantastic, but we have to go back a song first. Turn It Again.
excellent.
Fucking phenomenal song.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal.
And all I can ever see when it gets to the solo, and there's roughly 20 guitars all overdubbing on that solo. And so John had to actually do all the mix for the guitar parts, because in his mind, like, he could present that to, Rick Ross.
Yeah.
And he could present it then to the engineers on the mixing desk and everything, and they'd all be like, what the fuck is this mess? Like, only John understood what was going on off that 24 track, so he had to do all the mixing for it. But all I forget when you get to that solo bit, it's the down, down, diddle, 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 all that kind of nonsense with his big, heavy fucking sounding guitars, distorted. All I ever see is like cheesy 80s action films.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine that as an introduction with like an explosion in behind somebody. Like, it'll be fucking. It just fits so perfectly with that kind of thing. Like, a kind of thing that you'd see fucking Jason Statham or Stallone doing.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it's just a very, very fun.
Or it's like 21 Jump Street kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like cheesy over the top.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love that song so much.
It's cool.
But also that was done not on any of Flea's usual basses either. He picked up a bass and he like a bass that he hadn't used yet, and was like, I wonder what kind of song like would come up with this. And the first thing he played was boom boom.
Yeah,
and
this is what I love, man. It's the fact that they're still willing to constantly experiment and change it up.
And to be fair, it could be just that it was a new bass, but it was still a Music Man, or it's still a Fender that he used.
Yeah, fair.
or Aerodyne, or what was the fucking... I'm pretty sure he used to use a lot of modular spaces as well, so it could just be a different model of that. I didn't ask him, you know. I have approached Flea about coming on the podcast.
How's that?
Never got a response.
That's the
So
problem.
Connor had me message Rusty Rockets last night. Russell Brand.
Yeah. Russell Brand, if you're listening, come on, that'd be so sick. I love Russell Brand.
No response on that one. I sent it from my personal account, and then I commented in on this account saying, "This is a chance of a lifetime, Russell. We appreciate you're a busy man, but this can enhance your fame more. It might be able to help get you over Katy Perry." I've ruined it now, haven't I?
Yeah, you've ruined it. I think that's is big. Right, well, fuck that. Turn off.
Well, you can tell that she's got a type for blokes, though. She went from Russell Brand to Orlando Bloom.
What, two very, very similar people? Is that what you're getting at?
Just these waif-thin white boys with curly hair.
Oh, great. Yeah, he'll definitely join the show.
Hey, I'm not saying anything negative about Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. I think telling people not to vote in an election is a stupid thing, but I agree with his politics more often than not. However, he is now very religious and spiritual, and I disagree with his...
I think he's quite open-minded about it, though. Like, at least with the discussions he has and stuff. I love his podcast.
Oh, you listen to Under the Skin?
Yeah, Under the Skin is really good.
Yeah, see, I much more prefer stuff he does when he's with Matt Morgan.
Yeah, fair.
Like his old radio shows and that, before he started calling up Andrew Saxon, saying that he's fucked his grand. I mean, he is partially responsible for the downfall of the BBC as like a viable medium for entertainment.
I'd say it's something to be proud of.
Oh yeah, it's an achievement. Just, I'm not too sure if it's the achievement I would want on my gravestone. Although actually, I probably would. A bit of chaos, bit of anarchy. It's what I want. And then we go to the main event.
The song that I wish they would fucking play live.
Death of a Martian.
It's such a weird song, and it's so good.
That's great. It's a good one.
Well, I think it's called... I can't remember what it's like, a Leslie Paul effect. It's referred to as on that guitar during the
sort of bridge or where it changes.
No, it's in the verses still. If you listen to the way, so the original guitar riff is the
Yeah.
The second time, I think it's the second verse when it comes in, it's got that sort of weird
it has like
phasery
a
sound.
weird, yeah, like alien sort of. Well,
Okay, sound spacey is good.
yeah,
it fits perfectly, and of course it's about the death of the dog.
Yeah.
It was called
It's such a good song for it as well. But yeah, and I love how it just changes and becomes this weird sort of like preaching thing with like all these weird wacky noises on the background.
So it's called a Leslie simulator that uses on that guitar. I knew it was Leslie something. I think I just threw Paul in there because Les Paul.
Yeah, fair.
Word association games on sleeping tablets. It's fun. But yeah, Death of Martian is like a fantastic end to an album.
Yeah, I love the idea of just making a song about a dog and putting that as the end of your album and making it this whole huge epic thing, because it's a long epic song.
Well, yeah, it's what, close to 6-7 minutes?
Yeah.
How about there? Because then you've got, the whole outro poemy section with the like really distorted bass and still heaviness. It's like Wet Sand is the perfect ending point for first part. This is the perfect ending point. But also, just a fantastic song in general, and one of the highlights of the album.
Completely, and I fucking wish they would play it live. It annoys me. Have they ever played it live?
I'm sure they must. Well, I don't know, actually.
I don't think I've ever seen a single recording or known them to have ever played it live.
Yeah, they played it live.
Oh, have they?
I think so. Wait there, this should tell me. Nope, that's just the studio version that somebody has lined up with live playing footage.
Sick.
You can tell as soon as it hits, it goes, no, that's definitely the studio recording. I know it'd sound different. But I don't know whether it's just because it was a personal song about him losing his dog. Maybe that's why I didn't want to play it.
That's fair.
But then fucking Avenged Sevenfold sang a lot of songs about, the Rev dying.
Yeah.
They played those live.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just something that, like you said, it's personal. It's not it was never intended to be like a huge song on the album. Maybe they didn't even intend it to be genuinely one of the, like, they didn't think of it turning out as one of the best songs on the album. So they just don't think about it when they're making set lists and stuff. Because it's definitely not a huge song
Well,
of theirs. Like,
I was
So
just
they
having a
knew what they
look
were
at.
doing, ending with that one though.
Well,
it's weird they ended up with that one. I think it's a good ending though.
well, I think as well. So I was just having a quick look at Reddit to see if it had ever been played live, and one of the people was like, "Oh, well, you know, it would require multiple guitars." Yeah, who did they have touring with them at that time? Josh Klinghoffer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah, they
definitely
might.
doable. And I mean, they play loads of their songs that have multiple guitars live.
Yeah, there's a fair few that haven't been played live actually from Stadium Arcadium. You've got your obvious ones. I'm pretty sure Storm of the Teacup's been played. You alright?
Yeah, it's cutting off and on a little bit. I think we're good again now.
Okay. I sense nothing,
Okay, cool, cool,
but
cool.
I was
I
the one
apologize.
talking. I was on a roll. Yeah, I think there's a
Sorry.
few that they haven't played live from this album.
Hmm.
Whereas with I'm With You and with The Getaway, they did like the whole album in its entirety on live performances,
Yeah.
which is sucks a bit, but I can understand for like turning it again when you need 600 bloody guitarists to actually do the song. Like you can't just rely on one backing guitarist for that. So it's understandable with some stuff, but I'd love to hear them do it.
Yeah,
But
man. It would be so sick.
album as a whole, re-listening to it again today, and it's an album I've listened to a billion times. I still love it.
It's fucking amazing. It's so good. I think it's like I said earlier, it's like it's teeters on being my favorite Chili.
No, you have gone. You have most definitely gone. There has been a disconnection.
Yeah, a disturbance in the force.
I like Connor's face. I don't know if it's got the same one for you.
He's not. He's not been up the whole time for me.
Oh, is he not?
No.
Yeah. At the moment, he's just making this really like sort of kind of face, and he stayed there. His internet's crapped out basically.
Uh,
At least I think so. He might still be talking to himself. I don't know. But we are. I always say we are close to wrapping up. Anyway, which is good because I haven't eaten yet today, and I could do with some food.
yeah, I think you ought to if you're not eating the entire day.
I mostly don't nowadays. Well, mostly meal replacements.
Yeah.
I've lost about yeah. Worst thing since knowing you, like after school, I ballooned up to like 22 stone in total. But I'm down to sort of 18 at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my aim. Right, let's see if I can bring him back in, and we'll wrap up. It's either that or he's just realised he's got some dick to suck somewhere. Oh no, Connor Reed is unavailable. What the fuck?
Was he on a laptop or?
Yeah, same as me. He's on laptop.
Yeah.
But I take it yours is all on your home computing gaming systems.
Yeah, not doesn't make much of a difference, but I think it's just
No.
I don't have a headset that goes into PC. I'm connected to an Xbox controller that's connected to the PC.
Yeah, I can't remember why I got. I think I got my headset 'cause I was expecting to like play a lot more online with my brother at some point, and we never got around to it. So I've just got a spare. It's been good.
They're handy though.
Well, that's the thing. I could use the proper professional microphones that I've got, but
You've got that now.
I've had mics for years. The problem is, it's just it's doing the output for the sound, so I need to have the output on headphones.
Yeah.
Else
Okay.
it's just gonna sort of bounce all over. Yeah. Right, I'm going. Has he messaging me? No, he hasn't messaged me. He's just gone. Fucking hell, dude, what are you doing? Right, let me add him again. So with that, I'm just going to call him. Can you try inviting him, actually? See if it comes through on yours. Actually, I don't know, you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't think he'd be listed as a friend on. Oh. What the fuck's happening?
My internet's gone.
Ah, completely gone. Okay. What lights? Who are you with? No, I'm not. No, I'm not asking that. I meant your broadband provider. Right, you're forgetting. I fix internets for a living. I was going to ask. Right, he says he thinks he's back on now.
Yeah.
Yep, he is.
So sorry, guys.
The podcast got so much better for a good couple of minutes. Me and Ryan were having this great discussion on philosophy and all sorts.
I'm back. I'm so sorry. The internet just completely went in my house for like 5 minutes, and now it's back with a vengeance.
Well, where were we? This whole album's great. The whole band are great.
Completely. The whole thing is sick. And I think I was saying, I don't know how much of it came through. Was I starting to chop up or anything like that?
You started to talk, and then you pulled a funny face, and then you stayed in that face for a good couple of minutes.
All right. So it actually,
I thought the wind had changed.
Yeah.
And you just got stuck.
No, I think I was saying that. As I said earlier, this album sometimes tends to be one of my favorites of theirs, but that's because of the amazing songs that are there that are so fucking amazing. But if I was to be honest about it being a whole album and a whole piece of work, it's probably not really one of their best albums, because you have some of their other stuff like Californication that is pretty perfect from start to finish.
I would disagree with that. Would you really want to listen to Emmett Remus?
Fair. Well, what about By the Way then?
Well, By the Way's my favourite.
Yeah.
Cabron though, like that, did you?
Cabron.
I love it nowadays.
Yeah, what about
Really?
I Could Die For You, like that one?
I'm better with that now.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Sounds like you're compromising.
Yeah.
No, I did have as I started playing, again, it all goes back to what I'm playing on bass as well. So when I went through to learn the whole entirety, by the way, I got a different appreciation of things. Like Warm Tape, I never used to like.
I love that one.
Yeah. Hearing it again and going through and learning bass, I realised how great a song it was. I think I Could Die For You is still a bit shit, but not as shit as I used to think it was. But that album, you've also got what do you call it? On Mercury.
Yeah.
There's fucking lemon trees there, man.
Well, maybe it's just a case of how long this album is, then, that it's more noticeable when the songs aren't quite up to standard.
Yeah, because it can drag a little bit then at times.
Yeah.
Not as bad as another double album I've listened to, which we will be talking about for a 25th anniversary soon. But I will say, actually, we've now lasted 3 months. Or over 3 months now.
Is it?
We've had 13 weeks of episodes.
Get on, look at us go. And we've grown, and we've improved.
We've got a number one fan.
We've got our number one fan.
No, I'm not going to say that sentence, actually. There was going to be a sentence there which could have been rather rude. It's the first thing that came to my head, and I thought I would keep it PG. Instead, what I am going to say is it's that time again, Connor.
It's that time where we got to guess favourite songs. I think yours is quite obvious.
Yep. Mine hasn't changed since I first listened to the album.
So, Wet Sand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Ryan's, I genuinely don't know. I will also go Wet Sand for Ryan as well.
What does Jake think?
I would have said yours was Wet Sand. Yours is She's Only 18.
You think mine's She's Only 18?
unless you've changed it within the last 2 podcast recordings we've done, where you've explicitly stated it's your favourite song.
She's only 18 is my favorite, yeah.
Thank you very much.
And it's closely followed by like Death of the Martian and stuff. Because Death of the Martian is one of my all-time favorite Chili songs as well.
Yeah, well, I remember when we were talking about sorting a band thing back out together, like She's Only 18 was your first pick of the song. And I was saying, like, you didn't go for Don't Forget Me? Like, I went for Don't Forget Me.
Don't Forget Me is the Beeves News, but it's not necessarily going to be great for a band to play.
But I think for each of us, this album has at least 1 or 2 songs, maybe more, that end up in your top 10 of Chili's.
Completely, yeah, completely.
But,
it's definitely one of their best albums.
But I do agree with Ryan with, like, this can be my favourite album at some points. But because of how great the Chili's back catalogue is, that can change.
Yeah. So is yours Wet Sand, Ryan?
It's West Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to spend ages talking about how amazing that song was.
Yeah.
That's why I was so firm in my prediction earlier. It's like, I know what yours is. This is what happens when you have a great song like that, and it's for me, it's that masterpiece of that. The way the song builds, the lyrics, just everything. It all fits perfectly well. So yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're done.
Yeah, man. It's a fucking great album, and I'm super happy that John Frusciante is back in the band, so we can get more cool shit like this.
Unless he's become the next Kirk Hammett, in which case, get him fucking back out, get Klinghoffer back, get Dave Navarro back.
True.
But it leaves us just with enough time to say these magic words. Follow us, like us, subscribe us. We need groupies.
We want Ryan to not feel alone in our community of fans.
Well, it's just him, Casey, 2 people from Virginia. Saying that, right, I forgot I set up a fucking Skype account for the Songs That Made Us, because the theory was we'd use that to do all these rather than my personal Skype.
Yeah.
And so when I was trying to sort Ryan out, like, which Skype account to go into, I logged into that one, and 2 months ago we had a random message from a person, so I'm now trying to ascertain whether that person was a person who's like, hey, I'm a fan, I want to be on the pod, and is now thinking we're the biggest, rudest dick she's ever met because we've left her since July.
Oh wow, what's the message?
It was just, hi.
Oh, and you don't remember who it was or anything?
Oh, I've got the name in that, I'm not broadcasting the name.
Oh no, of course.
I've
Right.
messaged them back now, don't worry.
I was going to say, you didn't tell me that.
No,
we are rude pricks.
I only found out when today, like 2 hours ago.
Right, I see.
I have bigger fish to fry. But yeah, if you are enjoying the podcast, I know some are always going to be hit and miss, and I'm occasionally a dick, and
I have technical difficulties, and a dog that runs in, or a father that runs in.
And the production values aren't great. It's like we're doing a fucking. It's like we're doing a podcast in a favela. It's not the most technically, I think, but it's challenging times. All right, if you like it, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe to us on YouTube. We don't care about getting millions of subscribers and earning money. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it for fun. Follow us on Facebook, which is the Songs That Made Us.
We're asking for all of this mostly so like we could just connect with a community. For me, it's like I would just love to hear people more. I would love to see more people come on, more people that we don't know, get some suggestions for albums to listen to, all of that. It's more for content rather than let's become the biggest thing.
Well, and that's the thing as well. We, apart from the Skype issue that I just mentioned, we are easy to access. Like, drop us an email. The Songs That Made Us pod at outlook.com. Drop us an email. Drop us a comment on any of the YouTube ones. Drop us a comment on Podbean. Just can't comment on Spotify, but still. Or failing that, talk to us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. It's usually me on Twitter, but one of our members will be liking it very shortly. It's but it's at songs_us. Underscore being the dash sign that goes below for all the stupid people.
Yes. And
Ryan, how have you enjoyed your experience on this here little podcast?
Immensely.